Welcome to the video tutorial of the Ultimate Annual Budget. If this video is too fast or too slow for you, please note that you can always change the speed by clicking settings here. Go to playback speed. You can make it faster by choosing any of these or slower by choosing here. As a general rule, please do not edit colored cells. Only fill out white cells like this and this because the colored cells may contain formulas. So for example, if you accidentally enter an amount in this color cell here, this warning message will pop out. So please select cancel because you're not meant to edit those cells. Please start with the setup tab. This is where you set up all of your categories from savings, income categories, bills, debt, subscriptions, and variable expenses. You can delete them and start fresh if you prefer because all these categories are fully editable, so you can write those categories here. But please do not edit the row. So editing a row like this and then right click and delete row will mess up the template. So please do not do that. If you want to edit a category, you can always delete. You can copy and paste them, but please do not delete a full row. There are up to 25 subcategories for each of these main categories. If you need more categories than 25, please reach out to me. Do not add the row yourself. And the same with the savings and income categories. You have up to 16 savings and 6 income categories. If you need extra rows, please reach out to me and do not add extra rows yourself. Once you wrote all the categories here, they will be automatically populated to all the tabs. So you can see in the monthly tabs, everything you wrote will be reflected automatically. And also in the trackers tab, the drop down will reflect the categories that you wrote in the setup shape. The same with the bills tab. This drop down populates all of your recurring expenses, which is bills, debt, and subscriptions. So every time you want to add a category, please go back to this sheet. Do not add the category directly in the drop down because it won't work. You need to always write your categories in this sheet. Now these two columns here are where you can set up how your income is showing on the bill calendar. This won't impact any calculation. This is just for the visual of your bill calendar. Please enter the start date by double-clicking on the cell and select the start date of your recurring paycheck. Or if you're using tablet or phone, you can type the date. Then please select the frequency of your income. Once you've done that, if you go to the bills sheet, you can see your income is automatically highlighted in black. And then when you go from month to month, the black highlights continue. So you only have to set up that black highlight here once. To log your income, any income, please go to the tracker shape under income table here. And please log your income per paycheck. This is an example of a biweekly income that starts on the 5th of August in the amount of 2,400. You can log any fixed or variable amount here because you're logging them per paycheck as shown here. So before I show you how to log your savings and expenses in the tracker sheet and bill sheet, please set up your monthly tabs. There are 12 monthly tabs already created for you. In this example, I want this template to start in August 2024 and ending in July 2025. So what you need to do is to select the right year here. Always select the first of the month. Select August 2024 and please select 2024 as well for all of the months from September all the way to December. Then for the month of January all the way to July, please set them up to 2025. If, for example, this was showing 2024, all you need to do is double click and then edit that year to 2005. And please do that to February, March, all the way to July. Then please, after that, go to the annual dashboard and set up your starting month in the month that you want to start. This instance is August 2024. And please choose the right current month. If the current month is August 2024, then you need to choose August 2020. Now I'm going to show you how you can log your income, savings, and expenses. First, I'm going to show you how you can log your recurring expenses, which is bills, debt, and subscriptions. Please do that in the bill sheet here. So with the bill calendar, you don't need to duplicate tab. To go from month to month, please double click on this cell here and then always select the first of the month. Otherwise, it won't work. So if I want to go back to August, I will choose the 1st of August, and it will automatically populate all of your dates as well as income and your recurring expenses. Please do not write in this calendar, even though they're white cells. These are automatically populated from these two tables here, called fixed monthly bills and bill tracker here. So fixed monthly bills is where you can set up any fixed bills, which are bills with fixed amount that fall within the exact same date each month. So once you've set up your fixed monthly bills in this table here, not only that it will automatically populate month after month in this bill calendar, it will also automatically roll over in all of the other tabs. This is a huge time saver because that means that you don't need to repeat logging the same fixed bills each and every month, as it will automatically roll over. So if your rent falls on the 12th of every month, please enter that date here, 12 like that, and that fixed amount here. Please do not write the month and the year. So simply write the due date. You can do the same for any fixed debt payments and fixed subscription. If you have variable bills, for example, my electricity bill is varied from month to month. Please do not enter the due date and amount. Leave them blank and then log them in this table here called bill tracker by entering the due date, selecting the category, and entering the amount. So in this drop down here, you can select any bills, debt, and subscription. So this is where you log your variable bills, and also any bills other than fixed monthly bills should be entered here. This includes weekly bills, bi-weekly bills or fortnightly bills, quarterly bills, and annual bills. Please log them here. This also applies to debts and subscriptions. There are over 1,000 rows, so that means that when you move on from month to month, please do not delete the log from previous month and keep logging them to the next rows. As you can see here, I have logged all of my variable bills and my quarterly and annual bills from the month of August all the way to February, as an example. So the month that you selected in this calendar here, in this example, August, will be automatically highlighted in this color. So if you go to September, then you can see September is automatically highlighted. Now, some tips to enter the dates here. The best way is to double click on it. If you're using desktop or computer, then you can select any date from this little calendar here, but you can also type it. So if you prefer to write your date with month format first and then date, you can do that by typing the month first / the date and then select enter. If you prefer to write your date format with date first and then month, you can also do that by writing the date and then without space, please write the first 3 letters of the month. In this example, August. So just the first 3 letters and then enter. Now I want to show you how you can log your bi-weekly bill payments or weekly bill payments. In this example, I have a gym membership weekly payments. So what you should do is you should log that weekly payment 5 times that week because it started on the 1st of August, which means that there are 5 weekly payments for that month. So you should enter all of the dates of that weekly payments that month, as well as the category and the amount. The notes are optional. This is just to show you as reference. And this is the example for bi-weekly bills. And if you have 2 bills for that childcare that month because it's a bi-weekly payment, then you should enter that as well. Please do not duplicate that category in the setup tab. This is just your categories. This is not the frequency of your payments. It's important to not have a duplicate of your categories here. Otherwise, it won't work and will mess up all the calculations. So please make sure that you only write one category each. Now I want to talk about the paid column here. If you want to track your payment progress of the current month, please use this paid column here. This paid column is not linked to any other sheet. It's only to track your recurring expenses payments such as bills, debt, and subscriptions that will be calculated in these 2 cells here, total paid and total unpaid of the month that you selected here. If you check the box here, you can see that it will update the total paid cell here and then total unpaid cell. Total bills, which is the total of your bills, debts, and subscriptions this month, again based on the selected month here, will be shown in this cell. So when you check this box, it will keep updating these 2 cells here. You can also check the paid box here the same way. And the same thing will happen. It will update the total paid versus total unpaid. Now, when you move on to the next month, you do need to uncheck this box. To do that quickly, you can highlight all of the cells like this and then press spacebar and then press spacebar again. So now they're all unchecked. Then you can start checking the paid box for the month of September. Now let's move on to Tracker Sheet. Tracker Sheet is where you log all of your variable expenses, savings, and income. So variable expenses are things like eating out, groceries, shopping. So basically your occasional expenses that you wrote in this table here. Please enter your variable expense transactions by entering the date, category, and amount. Same way with savings, and then the same way with income. Please do not delete the log from previous months and keep logging the entries of the following months in the next rows. There are over 1,000 rows, so you won't run out of rows. So once you have logged your actual income, savings, and expenses in these two sheets here, Tracker Sheet and Bills Sheet, they will then be automatically populated in all of the tabs. So let's talk about the monthly tab. So all of the data that you've logged in both Bill Sheet and Tracker Sheet are automatically populated under actual columns because they are your actual income, savings, and expenses. So the same in here, it's automatically populated in these actual columns here and here. So those are your actual amounts. If you want to enter your projected amounts, please do that in this column here. So you can enter your income goal as well as your savings goals here. And if you have any projected amounts for your expenses, please enter them in the budget column here, 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 and here. This is your monthly summary table where you can see your total budget versus total actual calculated here. Your end balance is your start balance, which is populated from this cell here. Start balance is the remaining funds from previous month. So feel free to enter the amount in this cell here. It will then be populated to this cell and this cell. So your end balance is your start balance plus your income minus your total expenses and minus your total savings. Your income versus expenses is displayed in this diagram here. Spending breakdown is your variable expenses breakdown from your actual column. So if you want to see the ratio of all of your variable expenses breakdown, you can refer to this graph. You can also see at a glance your budget versus actual of all of your bills, debt, subscription, and variable expenses displayed in this graph here. So basically it's this amount versus this amount. The same with this and here. So for variable expenses, I have added an extra column called left to spend. This is your remaining budget of your variable expenses. So for example, for eating out, you've set out a budget of $500 for the month of August and you've spent $460. Again, this is calculated from the Tracker Sheet. Then your remaining budget or left to spend amount for eating out is $500 minus $460, which is $40. I find this is really handy to control your spending that is outside your recurring expenses. You can then see the total of your left to spend amount in this cell here, which is also populated to this cell here. This is your total expenses, which is your total bills plus your total debt plus your total subscriptions and variable expenses. Your total income also displayed in Easy View here, the same with your total savings. So you can easily navigate all of your totals in Easy View. So the weekly dashboard is optional. If you don't want to use it, simply hide the tab by right-click on the tab and select Hide Sheet. When the warning message pops out, you can click OK. So this dashboard is for those who want to track everything per week. Please enter the start date of the week that you want to track in this cell here. In this example, if I want to track the week starting the 5th of August, let me select that. The end date is automatically updated based on weekly cycle. So if I want to go to the week after, I'm going to choose the 12th of August. The end date is automatically updated, so you don't have to choose both the start date and the end date. I'll undo this. Okay, so basically it works very similar with the monthly tabs. The only difference is instead of tracking everything in a monthly basis, this is tracking everything in a weekly basis. So I want to show you here under bills, for example. It's only populating some of the bills, not all of the bills that I've entered in the bill sheet, because again, it's only populating the data between the start date and the end date. So because the rent that I input in this cell here is on the 12th, and then the date that I input in here is between the 5th and the 11th, it won't populate any expenses outside these dates. The rent is outside these dates, and the electricity bills, gas bill, internet, and everything that's showing as zero is outside those dates. The same with everything else like debt, subscription, variable expenses, income, and savings are only populating between these two dates. Now, the gray cells mean that you can still input manually any budget amount in these cells here, but I have also put a formula for the budget to reflect the actual. So that's what these gray cells mean, but you can still enter any amount here if you prefer to enter your budget manually here, like that. The warning message won't pop out. I'm going to undo this. Now, this split column here are a new feature for your bills, debt, and subscriptions only. So if the purpose of using this weekly dashboard is to split your monthly bills per week, in other words, if you want to divide your monthly bills by 4.3 because there are 4.3 weeks in a month, then you can use this split checkbox here. If you check the box, you can see that the monthly bills that I input in this bill sheet, which is 2,100, is automatically split by 4.3. So if I check the box for the electricity bill, it was 0 before because the electricity bill falls outside these 2 dates here. But because I'm splitting the monthly bills per week, then it will automatically divide that bill that you input, in this case, in this table here, automatically divided that month by 4.3. So if you want to do it to all of this, then you can highlight all of them and then press spacebar. This also applies to the debt and subscription. You can split some of these monthly payments per week. The same with the subscriptions as well, if you prefer to. Otherwise, remember, you can just uncheck the box and this will populate the data based on the dates that you select here. Everything else is pretty straightforward. This is your total expenses from the start of the week to the end of the week displayed in this chart here. Again, your spending breakdown is your variable expenses actual breakdown displayed in the chart here. Variable expenses budget versus actual displayed here. Left to spend amount, which is from this cell here, is populated. Your weekly summary is displayed in this table here. Your actual end balance is displayed in this cell here. Now you can convert this to a paycheck dashboard. I have actually created for you a paycheck dashboard. If it's hidden, please click this icon here and then unhide the paycheck budget by clicking it here. Then feel free to hide the weekly budget if you are not using it. When you see everything is red here, please remember that's because you haven't input any budget amount here. As soon as you input budget amount here, then you can see that the red is gone. It's because when this is below 0, then it's automatically highlighted in red. Okay, so paycheck dashboard works the same way with weekly dashboard, but the difference is you can select the end date. So it's not per weekly cycle, which means that you can customize this for any paycheck period, like bi-weekly or bi-monthly. So in this instance here, I want to track everything bi-weekly, and my bi-weekly paycheck falls on the 5th of August. The end date of that paycheck, because it's a bi-weekly period, will be on the 18th. Please don't get mistaken. If you want to track things bi-weekly and your paycheck falls on the Monday here, on the 5th of August, the end of your bi-weekly period is not the 19th, because the 19th is the start of your next bi-weekly paycheck period. So the end date should be the date before that, which is the 18th. That way you can see that the income automatically populate that paycheck amount. So everything in this sheet is automatically populated between these 2 dates here and not outside these 2 dates. Also, the other main difference with the weekly dashboard is the split column. So instead of splitting your monthly bills by 4, because it was for weekly dashboard, when you check the split checkbox, it will automatically split your monthly bills by 2. So I've entered $2,100 for rent. You can see when I check the box, it automatically split that amount by 2. The same with the electricity bills and all of the recurring expenses. Here, if you check the box, it will automatically split the monthly amount by 2. The rest works quite similar with the monthly tabs. This is income versus expenses chart displayed here. Spending breakdown is your variable expenses distribution populated from this column here. Your total budget versus total actual from here displayed in this chart here. of your bills, debt, subscription, and variable expense. Savings sheet is your sinking funds or savings tracker. This is where you can see the total amount of each of your savings categories display in this row here. This is based on the data you log in the tracker sheet under the savings table here. This sheet will then automatically calculate your savings. The only things to input here is your goal amount and start amount, if you have any. Once you've input the goal amount and start amount, you can see your savings progress displayed in this row here, and then your goal versus save in these charts here, as well as your left to save amount here. If you have an ongoing saving, that means you don't have a goal amount, simply delete the goal amount or leave it as blank. So for example, if I delete this, you can see that it becomes automatically show as ongoing. I will undo that. This template has 3 options of savings calculators. Option 1 is to calculate your monthly contribution based on your goal amount and goal date. So in this calculator option 1, please input your start date and your goal date so you can see the number of months required to achieve that goal. The end result is your monthly contribution based on the start date and goal date you input here. The goal amount is automatically populated from the amount you input here, and then the start amount is automatically populated from the amount that you here. Savings calculator option 2 is to calculate your goal date based on your goal amount and monthly contribution. So again, this is automatically populated from what you input above. And if you have a specific monthly contribution you have in mind, please enter it here and then enter the start date. The end result of this calculator will show you the goal date in this column here. Savings calculator option 3 is to calculate a certain percentage of your income. So simply enter any amount of your income here, enter your saving ratio. This will calculate the percentage you input here of your income. So those calculators are just tools to help you determine how much you need to save per each savings category. So once you figure out those amounts, please log them in the savings table here in the tracker sheet. So when you're ready to spend your saving categories, so for example, if I'm now ready to spend $5,000 of this holiday saving category, what you need to do is go to the tracker sheet, log the date you want to spend it. So for example, if it's March 2025, choose that category. Please log that amount with minus. So minus $5,000. This will add that amount as a positive balance in your monthly sheet and also update or deduct that amount on the savings tab. So I'll go to the savings tab and I'll show you that $5,400 now become only $400 left because you've taken out $5,000 from this holiday category. Now, when I go to the month of March, you can see that minus $5,000 is shown here, which means that, but when the savings is minus, double minus becomes for positive. That's why that extra $5,000 is now added to your end balance. Now, the second step is to spend that holiday money under the expenses categories. You can allocate it under any category, but I can always create a new category called the holiday and then go to tracker sheet and choose the date, March holiday, and then spend $5,000. So this is your bonus dashboard called 50-30-20 or needs and wants dashboard. The purpose of the sheet to automatically calculate the ratio of your income spent on needs versus wants, so you can make adjustment and prioritize your spending. Please select the month you want to calculate here. Always select the first of the month. This sheet won't work before you log your income, so make sure to log your income for that month in the tracker sheet under income table. So once your income is populated here, the next step is to scroll down and then allocate needs or wants to each of the bills categories, subscription categories, and also variable expenses categories. Once you allocate them, then everything will be automatically calculated for you in this column here. This is the percentage of your income that you've spent on needs. This is the percentage of your income that you spent on wants. And this is the percentage of your income that you spent on savings and debt, which also displayed in this chart here. If you want to set up a ratio goal, you can also do it and enter the ratio that you want here. And the result of this will be displayed in these cells here based on your income that month. And then your highest to lowest expenses here. So this is your annual dashboard, which is your annual summary. As mentioned earlier, the only input you need to do here is the starting month and current month. Every month, please don't forget to select your current month, because otherwise your fixed bills won't be automatically populated here. So once you selected the starting month and current month, everything else is automatically populated for you. You can see your total expenses of the year displayed here, total income of the year, and total savings of the year. Your goal versus actual of your income and savings this year, your budget versus actual of your variable expense, bills, debt, and subscription. This is your income versus expenses this year. And then the summary from the start balance, income, total expenses, and total savings, and also your end balance. You can see further breakdown of your total bills, total debt, total subscription, and total variable expenses here, and also the total amount of each month. And if you scroll down, here you can see your start balance each month versus your end balance, which is also summarized in this chart here. So this is your cash flow chart. Your daily average of each month is also automatically calculated in this column here. If you want to see further breakdown of your expenses, please go to the annual expense tracker. The only thing you need to input here is your starting month and current month. The same with the annual dashboard. Please input the current month so that your fixed bills will be populated in this sheet. You can see in these three charts here, your variable expenses breakdown that shows the amount to date of each category from the starting month to the current month. You can also see the bills breakdown and then that breakdown here. The table below it is where you can see the total amount versus average amount automatically calculated for you of each of your categories of variable expenses, bills, debt, and subscription. If you want to allocate subscription categories, you can do that here. Create your own categories here. This is fully editable. And then allocate each subscription to a category by selecting from this drop down here. Once you've done that, this table here will automatically summarize it for you so you can see how many total subscriptions you have for entertainment, your monthly average to date, amount is calculated here, your annual fees of each of your subscription categories. Next is the Debt Snowball tab. To enter your debt information, please scroll down all the way to row 403. Your debt name already been populated from the Setup tab. So all you need to do here is to enter the start balance, your minimum required payment, which is the minimum amount set by your lender as your monthly payment, your interest rate, and then credit limit. Credit limit is optional. It's only if you want to see your credit utilization rate automatically calculated for you, then you need to enter the credit limit. This sheet will automatically sort your start balance from the lowest to the highest. This is because we're using the debt snowball method. So the debt snowball method is a way to pay off your debt by focusing on the smallest balances first. So you start by paying as much as you can towards your smallest debt while making minimum payments on your other debts. Once that smallest debt is paid off, for example, in this instance here, is paid off in the July 2025, you allocate the money you were using for it and apply it to the next smallest debt. As you can see, this repayment becomes $110, although the minimum payments is $60. It's because once this debt is paid off, you're pretty much allocating this $50 towards your next smallest debt. $50 plus $60 is $110. And that's the same case with the rest of the debt. So it's like a snowball effect. So the purpose of that is to speed off paying off all of your debts in comparison to just paying the standard minimum payment. You will pay all of your debt a lot faster this way. So in this sheet, all of the calculations are done for you and all of your information such as minimum payment, interest rate, credit limit are automatically populated here. So the next step is to input your starting month and your current month. Please double click on the cell and always select the first of the month. The same with this one. So once you input that information, this timeline here, month number 1 will start in the month that you select. You can start at any month and any year. Once you've updated that, you can see your debt-free date is updated in this cell here. This is the month when you will pay off all of your debt using that snowball method. Progress of each debt will be shown in this row. This will be updated each month when you go from month to month in this cell, which I will show a bit later. Your paid off date of each debt will be shown in this row, your current balance in this row, and then your credit utilization rate. So what is credit utilization rate? Credit utilization rate is the percentage of your total available credit that you're currently using. It is calculated by dividing your total credit card balance by your total credit card limit and then multiplying it by 100. A lower credit utilization rate is generally better for your credit score, as it shows that you're not heavily reliant on credit. And this table here is the summary of it all. So this is your current or remaining balance based on the month that you select here, your current month. This is your total starting balance, total monthly payment, total credit limit, and then this is your total credit utilization rate, which is your total remaining balance divided by your total credit limit. So these two cells here will show you the numbers of debts paid versus the number of debts remaining based on the month that you select in this cell. This pie chart here is the summary of your current balance distribution, which is taken from this row here. When you move on from month to month, simply change the current month here. So when September arrives, simply select the 1st of September. As you can see, it's updating everything. It's updating the progress of each debt, the pay of progress, the current remaining balance, and it also cross out August. So when I move on to July 2025, for example, I'll choose 2025, 1st of July. These cells are updated because you have paid your first debt. So for all of the debts that's been paid, it will show as grayed out, so it's easy for you to visualize and see which debts have been paid off. It will show the progress being 100%. You can see the number of debts paid versus unpaid also been updated. So if I move on to September 2025, then you can see 2 debts been paid. So if I keep moving forward, you will see that all of the debts have been paid off are all grayed out. This pie chart here is also updated accordingly. I'll show you if I move on to March 2031, your overall pay of progress will show as 100%. Then you can see all of your debts are now grayed out. And then your debt remaining is now 0. Now the feature I want to talk about is this monthly extra payment. So if you want to pay an extra amount above and beyond your minimum required payment, you can enter it here. So in this instance, your total monthly payment is $845. This is your total minimum payment of all of your debts. If you want to dedicate a number to add to this each month, you can put it here. So for example, if I enter $100, this will update to $945 per month. As you can see, the more monthly extra repayment you put, the quicker you pay off all of your debts. So that's automatically updated. The same with this row will be all automatically updated. So if I enter $200 here, then you even pay off your debts sooner. You can see the details of that in this payment schedule here. So instead of $50 minimum payment, it's $250. And once this is finished, this will be automatically added to the next debt and so on. Now you can also add or reduce your payment for any random month in this column here. So for example, if in September I want to add another $300, simply enter it there. Then you can see everything is updated again, because the more money you put towards your debt, the quicker you pay off your debt. And you can also take out some money or reduce the payment in case of unexpected expenses. So for example, in the month of March, I need to take out $200. I need to reduce my extra repayment by $200. Simply enter with minus 200 and it will automatically calculate everything as well. Please be mindful when you're taking out a payment like that, not to take out too much to the point where you exceed your minimum payment. So you need to make sure that the minimum payment is met here. I would recommend to only do that when you absolutely have to, because it's always better to put more money towards your debt so you can be debt free sooner. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this video helps. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out.